Hello once again, Niner faithful. Johnny Dell back with another episode of 49ers Playbook on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and hows of the game. Week 2 was a bittersweet moment for many Niner fans. What should be a great celebration of a lopsided win over the rival Seahawks has been overshadowed by the season-ending injury to Trey Lance. Hopefully Trey makes a speedy recovery and is able to return to full strength, but until then there's still a lot of football left to be played. Thankfully, the team has quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo still with the team to be able to step into the starting position and lead the team going forward. But one reason I have a lot of hope for this season has been the strong play of the defense so far. The team was really strong on defense in 2021 when they went to the NFC Championship game, and the defense looks even better this season with strong play from Javon Kinlaw, Mooney Ward stepping in and solidifying the corner position, and the emergence of Talanoa Funga, who looks like an absolute star in the making. That being said, let's jump to the film and take a look at why I believe the 49ers are poised to make a strong push this season. You're watching Johnny Dell's Football Academy. On defense, one question the team had coming into the season was how to replace DJ Jones. In our defense, Jones played primarily the one technique, or the defensive tackle in the A gap. This year, the 49ers have used either Armstead or Kinlaw interchangeably based on the alignment of the offense, and has been showing some nice dividends. Here, the Seahawks are going to run a weak side zone run. The defensive line does an incredible job all the way around on this. As we've seen from our offense, the key is getting up on the second level with your line. At the snap, you'll see both Kinlaw and Armstead attack the play side linemen. Remember, the idea is the offense wants to scoop block these guys, then get up on the second level. They both do a good job of occupying the guys who want to get to the second level, which draws a double team. It's not just they take on a double team, they're actively drawing a double team to keep the second level clean. This keeps Funga and Greenlaw free, and Funga does a real nice job in recognition. He sees the hole, fills the hole. You also have a really nice job by Aminu here of setting a hard edge and not letting this play get extended out. This is what it looks like when the defense condenses the run game to stifle a rushing attack as a team. Next, we're able to force an incomplete pass on third down. Here's one thing that the addition of Mooney Ward does. It forces quarterbacks to think twice about their matchups. Here, the Seahawks have a double in concept, and we're showing man coverage with a mudded up front. Most of the time, we back out of this into coverage, but sometimes we do bring the heat, and this is one of those times. Geno is going to pick his matchup though. He doesn't like Lockett on Mooney Ward, even though that's the easier spot to win as Lockett has a two-way go. So he picks Metcalf on Mosley. You can see the difference in how a guy can play it when his receiver doesn't have a two-way go. He's able to sit on the route and drive on the throw to force an incomplete pass. Seattle actually picks up the blitz in scheme, but watch how dangerous this is for opposing the offenses when you have Armstead, Kinlaw, and Bosa all on the same side. Each guy bull rushes his man into the quarterback. On offense, Debo is able to pick up a huge gain by just being Debo. The play should have actually been a keeper by Lance as the defensive end takes Debo, but Debo does Debo things and makes an explosive run out of it. But moments later, the 49ers season takes a huge turn when we run the same play, but flipped. And this time, Lance sees the defensive end stay with Debo, so he keeps it, but ends up losing his season in the process. And get well, young man. Back on defense though, one thing to note, it's not just the starters who make our front seven formidable. We have incredible depth on the line to keep rotating linemen to always have fresh bodies on the field. Here, we're coming with a 5-man front, and Seattle is going to try and run an ISO play, which is a play to isolate a lead blocker on the linebacker for that gap. Aminu is tasked with taking on the guard and proves too quick, along with Armstead, who reads it well and comes down the line. The defensive line is so disruptive the play breaks down in the backfield. Time and time again, the 49ers defensive line proved too much for the rebuilt Seattle offensive line. And then we're able to force a short completion short of the first down on 3rd and long. We're going to come out in a cover 4 palms coverage here. Seattle expects this and tries to fool the defense. They're going to be in a bunch 4x1 set. The reason they're doing this is to confuse the release of the receivers. Gibson, the safety to that side, is tasked with matching the number 2 vertical route. They're going to run the up receiver on a high crossing route. The idea is, because this will threaten the quarter safety first, that he'll pick up the high crosser, and then they're going to run the inside receiver on a vertical. They're exchanging post-snap to confuse the defense, but the D does a great job in coverage. Gibson has his eyes in the right place as he's reading the release of the bunch, and he sees the exchange and is going to pass off to pick up the true number 2 vertical. This can only happen if Funga sees it too and picks up the high crosser. So when Geno sees that Gibson didn't bite, he has to check it down with the pressure coming, and it's a 4th down. This is good coverage and good pass rush to force a punt. Also, Fred Warner nearly takes Bosa out. Back on offense, we're able to put a scoring drive together, and it's kicked off with this nice conversion to Danny Gray. First thing we're going to do is run this little in-out motion. That's a coverage check. With the corner coming down and them shifting inside and then back with the single safety, it reveals cover 3 zone. We're then going to run Ayuk on a curl route. This will force the curl flat vertical and inside, and then put Gray on an out route. This puts the curl flat defender in a horizontal stretch. Jimmy sees the curl flat match Ayuk vertical and throws with nice anticipation and drive on the ball to get it there before the corner can close for a 1st down. So throughout the game and on the first 2 drives, Seattle was using some blitzes to attack the run game. They'd bring an extra guy off the edge on the strong side to disrupt the run. Here, we burn them on it. We're going to run a sail concept off play action, and Seattle will only have 6 in coverage. First, the Debo run action draws the attention, and so as Jimmy hits the top of his drop, the corner has been run off with the post route, the curl flat defender is occupied by Debo, and with only 1 defender over the middle, he isn't able to get out and cover the sail route by Dwelly, who's able to get in for a score. Then back on defense, we're really seeing the team defense start to gel. Here's an example of why the team likes Dre Greenlaw and gave him his extension. The Seahawks are going to come out in a 2 tight end set to the right, and we're going to bring Funga on a blitz off the edge. We're going to get through immediately, and part of that is the ability to disguise it. We're going to run a zone blitz with 3 deep and 3 underneath. The Seahawks are trying to run a slide concept, something that we're all used to seeing with a run fake one way and a rollout pass the other. The key here will be Greenlaw. He's going to have to not bite on the play fake and also have the speed to get out in the flat. Otherwise, we either have to give up his presence inside against the run and cheat him outside, or give up the flat early in the down. As you can see, we get Funga unblocked and Geno has to get rid of it quickly, but Greenlaw was quick to the flat and he takes a great angle of attack and makes a solid tackle for a loss on the play. Next, this pick forced by Funga is a really nice play. We're going to show heavy pressure, and this is something we've done in the past. We'll task the safety with matching the number 2 receiver. I do believe we'll have a busted assignment here, as this was supposed to be a creeper blitz, where you'll bring a linebacker or safety on a blitz, and then drop a defensive end into coverage, so it has the effect of bringing extra rushers, as the offensive line has to account for the defensive end in protection, but you still drop 7 in coverage. One of Greenlaw or Warner were supposed to come on a blitz on this play, but it still does its intended job, as the QB would want to get it to his hot read versus a blitz, but it's taken away. This creates a high-low stretch with Lockett coming across the field on a deep crosser. So Geno, seeing the underneath coverage swarm the underneath route, he looks to Lockett on the deep crosser, but Funga is there. If we back it up, he does a really nice job in coverage, reading the receiver, and once he identifies the route, he runs the route and undercuts it, disrupting the pass, and it's a tip drill to his waiting teammate. That's a great job to first read the route well and have the speed to run with Lockett on the route. That's such good stuff from the young guy. Next, Mooney Ward doesn't fall for the circus and comes away with a pick. The Seahawks are getting cute here. They're going to come out with 3 running backs and fake a little sweep with an options play to the other side and have a halfback pass. As the play develops, Ward's going to look at the play and say, wait a minute, they're not trying to run, and just drop underneath the route, and when you have big running backs trying to throw, it doesn't always end well. So after an effective drive, we're going to be set up with goal to go off a nice pitch and catch. This is what Jimmy G does bring going forward. He's not the flashiest passer, as we all know, but he'll execute the little things pretty well. We're going to spread everything out with a running back, Wilson, split wide. With a linebacker on him in the single safety, this reveals cover 1 man. From there, Garoppolo is just going to like this matchup. He's got Wilson, who's a good route runner and has speed, on the bigger linebacker. Wilson is just going to run a curl route. And Jimmy does have the ability to make a lot of these throws from an unstable platform with his quick release, and he gets the ball out in a great location for Wilson to be set up at goal to go. Which we then score on a fullback dive with Juszczyk. Then back on defense, we're going to see Nick Bosa get one of his 2 sacks on the day. Having a guy like Bosa is just such an asset. The Seahawks are going to try and move the launch point away from him by running an old West Coast staple, sprint left option. Sprint right option was the play to Dwight Clark on the catch. They go left to move away from Nick Bosa on a rollout pass, and the running back is tasked with coming down and slowing up the backside defensive end, Bosa, to allow the quarterback to roll out and take a low to high read with the run as the third option. The problem is, this is no normal defensive end. This is Nick freaking Bosa. The running back tries to pick him up, but Bosa stiff arms him off, and you'll see the burst off the line to get to Geno for the sack. Back on offense, we're going to get a nice chunk gain due to all the attention Debo attracts. We're just going to run our weak side wide zone. It's basic stuff, just an off-tackle run, but we dress it up with the jet sweep action by Debo. This is where you use the defense's game planning against them. You have to understand, the defense in their meetings all week are going to be talking about how that Debo Samuel is a dude. They need to account for him every single play, where he is and when he goes in motion to be a potential ball carrier because of what he can do with the ball. So on this play, when Debo goes in motion, the defense is going to alert across the board about it and watch the entire defense shift to account for Debo's jet motion. This shift is what allows Banks and Dwelley to get up on the linebackers and open up a huge lane for Wilson to run through for 16 yards. But you're seeing the impact of Debo without the ball even in his hands. Let's also take a second to appreciate the down block by Brendel and Burford to wash the defensive tackle down. But the drive is all for naught as Seattle is able to block the field goal and return it for their only points of the game. Here, Dwelley just needs to do a better job. He reaches out to grab the edge when really he needs to try and redirect. If you can disrupt the guy out even one step, he won't be able to get there in time. It's just a breakdown on what should be a routine play. This next play is one I want to highlight for two reasons. One, I hate the Seahawks and want to make fun of them. Two, to show we're not the only offensive line that makes silly mistakes. Here, the Seahawks are trying to run a wide zone and their tackle gets confused on which side it's run to. So instead of blocking out on Bosa, he blocks down, and they have 3 guys blocking 1 defensive tackle. The Seahawks then are going to try and run a little quarterback counter. They'll fake a handoff to the running back and pull the guard to kick out the A-maul or end man on the line and block down. They like this play because they either get a kickout block and up inside, or if the defensive end crashes down, they have Metcalf, their big strong receiver, up on the nickelback on the outside. First, Ebukam does a good job of recognizing what's going on and tries to condense the lane without just crashing down. So Geno tries to go outside. The other thing is Womack does a great job of defeating Metcalf's block and making a stop on the play. That's just men being better than their opponent on the other side. Then we're going to see Seattle in this press 4 matching defense. They can't press on the bunch side because of how it disrupts the rules of the matching, but the single receiver side they can. So Jimmy sees the matchup and goes after the one-on-one. There's a few reasons I really like this. One, we've needed Ayuk to emerge in this X receiver role. That is the wideout split away from the tight end on the single receiver side, who will be isolated in these types of situations. This kind of stuff forces a defense to have to adjust what they're doing. 2, this is the kind of play where you get free yards when the defense commits a penalty. We were on the benefiting end of 4 big pass interference penalties in this game. When is the last time we could say that? 3, Jimmy does a real nice job here. He is first going to look off the safety to the middle of the field and then go put the ball where Ayuk is allowed to fight through the tight coverage to draw the pass interference. And fans will argue whether or not Jimmy meant to place the ball where he did. I don't think this is an intentional underthrow, as from the end zone angle you can see he's about to get hit when he throws it and short arms it a little. But when he goes to throw it, the corner is in great position, right in Ayuk's hip pocket, so the easiest play here is to draw the PI. Then back on defense, we're going to see more dominant play from the defensive line. And this is just a really nice play from Kevin Givens. He wins at the snap, getting under the guard's pads and winning at the point of attack early, controlling his man and shedding the block to get to the ball carrier. The depth along the defensive line is something very, very few teams have, and what makes these long, patient drives and body blow games so hard on opposing teams. They just simply don't have the guys to keep pounding it back and forth all game. Then a mix of good coverage and good pressure net Nick Bosa his 2nd sack of the game. It's a 3rd and long, and Seattle is going to try and run a dagger concept with a deep post to clear out and a dig in behind into the vacated zone. We're in this matching 4 again, and this is again good coverage, but will also show why you have to have both good coverage and a good pass rush. Gibson, knowing Mosley is responsible for matching the X when he goes vertical, moves off the X early, and then looks to the next route to threaten his zone. I'll make that make sense in a second. With the dagger, you're going to get a vertical route from Lockett, which Funga will be tasked with matching. And they're trying to run a little check down route underneath to try and drop Fred Warner to open up this area of the field. Funga matches, and this is where Gibson comes in and is looking to cover any in-breaking routes into the now vacated zone. So when Geno looks down the field, there's no one open, which gives the pass rush time to get home. On the flip side, you can see how this matching zone would expose the defense to a deep post as it travels across the field if the quarterback has time for it to develop. This is why good coverage has to be married with good pass rush and vice versa. From the end zone, you'll see we run a nice double TE stunt or tackle end stunt that brings Jackson free first, and then Bosa, who are able to corral Geno for the sack. Then we're able to get another PI call to set up our final score of the game. And this is just a great heads-up play by Brendel, Ayuk, and Jimmy. We end up drawing Seattle off sides, and Brendel is really heads up here by snapping the ball. You can see the offensive line wasn't expecting it to be snapped. So that's just Brendel snapping it, knowing they'll get a free play. Same with Ayuk running the go route, and Jimmy taking the shot. They all know it's a free play. It's something many fans have been asking for a while. We've seen Aaron Rodgers do this 1,800 times and take a shot on a free play. I love it. Go draw the PI and get yourself free yards. This sets up Jimmy for the quarterback sneak to put the game away. Overall, while you love a win and you love a win over the Seahawks, you can't help but feel an air of sadness over the events that transpired and feel bad for Trey Lance. We're all wishing him a speedy recovery so we can hopefully see the team operate with him at his best. But through the darkness of the injury, there is still hope. This is still a really talented team with a quarterback who has won a ton of games, and the team has gone deep in the playoffs with him twice before. Who knows, with the way the defense is looking and the aggressive nature of the team and Garoppolo attacked Seattle this past Sunday, anything is possible. It's gonna be a long season, faithful, so let's strap up, strap in, and be ready to cheer this team on to a deep playoff run. If you like what you just saw, please subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to hit the notifications button to be alerted when a video goes live. Also, if you'd like to support the channel in any way, I'll have links for that in the description below. But as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and go Niners.